What's going on, everybody? It is January 26, 2018, and we are here to talk about Winter Storm Jaxon, which has officially dumped 14 inches of snow in areas of Nebraska. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Nebraska is not used to this type of weather whatsoever. They do not have the equipment to clean up the roads like some of the northeast states do. You can see right here, 14 inches of snow in Nebraska is a big deal. And what happens is the snow falls, they don't have the plows, they don't have the salt trucks, and this stuff stays on the ground and then it freezes. So the longer it's colder in areas like this, the longer it's going to be harder to travel. Now, the thing with Jaxon is this. Jaxon seems to be making an approach towards the northeast, but because of the warmer temperatures we've been dealing with, it's going to be a rain situation, in my opinion. I was a little bit confused whether or not that Jaxon would be a winter storm for the Northeast, or if they were going to change the name to Winter Storm Kalani, which is the next on the list. Now, if you follow me here on the jet stream, I have you set for February 2nd, which is, of course, the beginning of Super Bowl weekend. Now, those of you that follow my channel, you know I talk about the jet stream nonstop because it is the determining factor in our weather. When you see a deep dip in the jet stream like this in the winter, what that does is that allows the cold air from Canada to just shoot down into the middle of the country. And you can clearly see here that the red is circling the blue, which is why we're having those warmer temperatures in the Northeast right now. In fact, I was outside taking some pictures of the moon. The moon was out earlier today, and I felt the sun on my back, and it just felt warm. It was like a spring day. It was incredible. But that is going to change. So, really quick, before this jet stream chart fails on me like it always does, I'm going to move forward in time, and I'm going to show you how this jet stream here swings, and then it brings it right up into the northeast. And just as that's happening, we have a system that is beginning to form just to the north of Alabama and Mississippi, which is a moisture system, which will bring rain to them. But once it makes its way to the northeast, we could be talking about a major snow event for a lot of the coastal states, including as south as South Carolina, North Carolina, Delaware, New Jersey, and especially New York, Vermont, Maine, Northeast Pennsylvania. Those are the areas you're going to want to watch for now, and especially lake effect snow in areas like Buffalo, Erie, and Watertown, which we always talk about. Now again, I have you here set for February 2nd. I'm going to just click forward here, and you can see how this dip in the jet stream is swinging left to right. It's not moving west to east, it's actually swinging. So that's what's going to cause the moisture system that's above Alabama and Mississippi to be pulled up into the northeast. So as I move forward, you can see with your own eyes the blues are covering that. And unfortunately, that's the last frame we get on this set of data. But with these three frames, 1, 2, and 3, you can see it's kind of a swing. It swings back and forth. So we'll do it one more time. 1, 2, and 3. So by February 3rd, this dip in the jet stream is directly over the Great Lakes. So what that means, and we've talked about this before, is any bit of moisture that is involved in these blue areas will be ice and snow. There's no question about it. We're in that part of the season where any moisture that is affected by the Canadian cold air is going to bring snow. And that's when you deal with the lake effect issues. Again, Buffalo, Erie, Watertown, areas like that. But this is going to be more than that, guys. So I have another jet stream chart pulled up for you. This is set for February 1st. And what I'm going to do here is just verify that this is not just one chart showing this. Now, again, these purple colors, ice cold freezing air. Again, we've been dealing with a little bit of warmer weather in the Northeast. People have been loving it, but unfortunately, it's going to come to an end shortly. We're at day 4 right now. Here is the 30th. So I'm going to start from the 30th. I'm going to move forward all the way to February 3rd. Here is the 31st. Here is the 1st. And here is the 2nd. And by the 2nd, you can clearly see that the jet stream has brought down that cold air all the way to the middle of the United States, and also reaching the top parts of New York and even, again, Great Lakes. The Great Lakes are going to definitely get lake effect snow from this situation. Now we're going to move into the second and the third. Now this is the day I'm talking about where I think this storm may do its worst for the Northeast. Again, the jet stream has dipped down far enough to where the temperatures will drastically change. I do tell a lot of you to keep an eye on your local weather, and you will see, just as I saw in the Northeast, there were temperatures of 48, even some mid-50s going on, and then a dramatic drop down back into the 30s with what looks to be snow for 3 or 4 days. So I just wanted to use these two charts to show you that the jet stream is in fact dipping once again lower than it usually does. The jet stream has been doing some very weird things lately. Hurricane season also showed this. Hurricane season was a big reason why a lot of these storms stayed out in the ocean and kind of just sat there. They had nowhere else to go. And think of the jet stream as a force field. That's what I like to teach people. And a lot of you that follow me, I'm sure you know that by now. It's very repetitive information, but it is significant information. So by February 4th, we're still dealing with cold air, but now that we move over to tropical tidbits, I want to show you why this is going to be a system to worry about. Right now I have you set for January 27th, which is 1 day from now. Now, this is why I had some confusion between Winter Storm Jaxon and Winter Storm Kalani, or however you pronounce it. I will get this right one day. You can see Jaxon moving across the northeast, so we are expecting rain. It's not going to be any sort of winter. I don't even expect a wintry mix out of Jaxon, so I'm pretty convinced that this separate storm will be a new named storm. Now, we move into the 28th here. We're in the 29th. We got some clear weather, so it may be just a little cool, no precipitation, which is a very good thing. We do have a system coming in from Canada that is dropping down into the U.S. by the 31st. Here is February 1st, February 2nd, and here is what I'm talking about. This system right here is the moisture that is forming right over Mississippi and Alabama, which they don't have to worry about the snow at this point. Maybe some northern areas of this because of that dip in the jet stream that may cause some icy roads, ice rain, stuff like that, but no blizzard conditions. Now, here is what the issue is going to be. If you follow this, you can see those deep purples show up, and anytime we see these colors, guys, we know this is severe moisture. And when you mix severe moisture with super cold temperatures from the jet stream, you can expect one thing, that is snow. And Winter Storm Grayson followed this pattern very closely. It's actually almost mimicking that storm, as well as Winter Storm Hunter, which just came and went as well. So here is my concern. Now, the GFS, which is what I'm using right now, has this storm beginning on the coastal states here. Now, what I want you to watch is how it whips around, almost goes into a circle formation, just like hurricane winds do, counterclockwise. That's always an issue because what that can do is that begins to wrap around. It goes back up into the areas of Canada, and then it can actually be pushed back down over the Great Lakes, causing more lake effect snow. So I'm going to move forward here, and you can see this thing just expand. It almost covers the entire country of Canada, which is unbelievable to me. I have not seen stuff like this in a long time, and I've been watching winter storms for a long time, even though I have not been posting on them on YouTube. These deep purple colors are very, very severe, lots of moisture. And when you mix that with 20-degree temperatures, guys, anything that touches the ground will be snow, it will be ice, it will be slushy, and it's just not looking good. Now again, excuse me, we are 4 or 5 days out from this situation beginning, so things may change, but as we all know, so far, these forecasts have been pretty accurate. So I want to keep you here on February 2nd. Sorry about that. So you can see areas, all the coastal states, including Florida, are covered in moisture. Now the dip, you can see these lines here. This does show the jet stream dip. It comes down all the way almost to the panhandle of Florida, and then it comes up to Maine, Vermont, areas like that. And then we have Delaware, Jersey, Long Island especially is going to be at risk for this situation if this does in fact become a winter storm. In my opinion, this will be Winter Storm Kalani or Kalana, whatever you want to call it. But because it's mimicking Winter Storm Grayson, that is my concern, because Winter Storm Grayson dumped, as I showed you guys on the pictures I took that they had played on the Weather Channel. There were areas of the Northeast that got 1 to 2 feet of snow, and then literally 20 miles to the east or west got 1 inch of snow. So a lot can change in a little bit of time. But if you just, I'm going to hit play here so you can just see it move through its motions. It swings up, and then it looks to want to come back down. It actually makes a full counterclockwise loop, and then it begins to go back over the Great Lakes. And again, guys, these deep purple colors are what you want to look out for. This is where the situation gets pretty drastic. Now, again, because things can change, this could move out into the ocean over the next couple days, or it could actually delay and stay over the states and the Great Lakes. So that's why we keep up to date on a daily basis. That's why we want to keep an eye on this storm. We have been flying through these names already. We are already in K, and we are not even in the month of February yet. So just goes to show that we are just having storm after storm after storm. And if this data holds true, guys, with the jet stream that I just showed you, this deep dip down here, you can expect temperatures easily in the 20s, which means any precipitation is going to freeze immediately. That's why I like using this jet stream chart here. Unfortunately, they don't give me enough frames to show you the next day. See how it goes back to the beginning here to the 26th? But if I back up, it goes to February 3rd. So basically, just picture this dip in the jet stream doing a swing, almost like a pendulum. It's going to swing right over the Northeast, and then it's going to get brought back up into Canada, and then that's when you begin to see that swirl we just looked at on Tropical Tidbits, which I'll bring you back to. And you can see it just expands. The second it hits the Atlantic Ocean and that high pressure in the Bermuda Atlantic that we always talk about with hurricane season, it's a force field. Basically, these high pressure zones are force fields, and it pushes weather away, especially moisture. And you can also see up here in areas near Canada, or not Canada, rather, Ireland and the UK, they are also going to be dealing with a separate system that is going to be swirling around in a counterclockwise motion, which means it's going to be pulling moisture from the top areas of the UK and Ireland and then whipping it back around for a second round. And it seems to be the exact same situation that is happening to the northeast of the US. So once again, I will play this through for you. The deep purples begin right here. This would be southeast Pennsylvania and even parts of North Carolina, guys. If this thing dips low enough, once again, the southern states could be dealing with icy conditions. I'm expecting more freezing rain than I am snow in these areas, but once we get to the northeast, guys, this could be another major snowstorm. And I haven't heard anything yet about it on the Weather Channel. They usually tend not to talk about things that are 5 and 6 days out because they like to keep, they want to be accurate. They have ratings to make, and, we know how that works. But we can see clearly right here, this data is showing a major storm that is forming over Alabama, Mississippi. Right here is where it begins, and then that jet stream pressure just swings it right up into the northeast. And yes, this is Super Bowl weekend, so for those of you that are having parties and whatnot, I think you should keep a close eye on this. This obviously will not affect the areas of Minnesota, but the northeast is certainly at risk for it. So that is something I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys take note of it. Once again, guys, Jaxon has dumped 14 inches of snow in Nebraska, which is just unbelievable to me. Before I let you go, first of all, I want to say thank you to everybody that has subbed to this backup channel. I was not expecting numbers like these at all. I have a lot of loyal followers that were asking about the links. All the links are now fixed, so you can go into any description box in any of my videos on the main channel, and it will bring you right to this channel. I'm actually going to upload this video to this channel, so we actually have some content on here that people can watch and share. And if you notice in the bottom right corner here of the logo, I have linked the main channel of the YouTube here. I've also linked the Twitter, and I've also linked the Instagram channel, because I have been taking a lot of pictures and doing a lot of work on Instagram. And also, thank you guys for submitting pictures. I know I requested you guys to start doing that, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting videos together of just subscriber pictures, sunsets, high-packed snow, anything you guys want to show me, I am more than willing to show in videos as a thank you. I think it's really cool that we all get to interact in all these different ways. Very cool stuff, no pun intended, but guys, you can clearly see here, these deep purple colors, that is not what you want to see when it comes to our jet stream. Now, finally, I did make a video about the Alaskan earthquake. We can see here, guys, that there has been aftershock after aftershock after aftershock from this earthquake. It registered as an 8.2 to begin. They dropped it down to a 7.9. USGS is absolutely known for lowering earthquakes just to keep it below that 8.0 range. But this was all within one day, all these aftershocks. And then those of you that have been following earthquakes along the border of California, keep in mind, I am no earthquake expert whatsoever, but I know when I see significant earthquake activity, and it just makes perfect sense to me that an earthquake of this size in Alaska, pressure transfers, there's no getting around it, pressure transfers down these fault lines, which are highlighted in red, you can see here, and now the coast of California is now feeling this pressure from that 8.0 earthquake. So those of you in California and even as far inland as Yellowstone National Park, you guys are getting rocked with earthquakes lately, and it's just something to keep an eye on. And remember, deep earthquakes tend to cause stronger, shallower earthquakes. So when you see a deep 120 kilometer deep earthquake, you can expect that area to get a stronger, shallower earthquake. That's data based on channels like Dutch Sense, and there's some other channels out there that really dig into this stuff. So I recommend you check them out for more detailed information on the earthquakes. Let's see here. Once again, like I said, we've been flying through these winter storm names. We are already into J and K. Again, I have Jaxon and Kalani circled here because I was not sure whether or not these would be separate storms or if this would be a continuation of Jaxon. Going through the data now, I am pretty convinced that Kalani will be its own storm, the one we just spoke about, and those dates are set for about February 2nd through February 4th. So be prepared for those dates. It may change a day early, it may change a day late. I will keep you up to date on a daily basis. I have the entire weekend to dedicate to this, so you will have a lot of detail from me. And once again, I will be posting each new video on both channels, just so we can have a backup plan just in case something were to happen. I had some people asking me if there was something wrong with the main channel, and absolutely not. I have 0 strikes on that channel. It's just a good idea to have a backup channel. That's all there is to it. After Kalani, guys, we got Storm Liam, and then we got Mateo, and then we got Noah. After that, who knows what's going to happen with this winter. Again, we are still just in the month of January, and we are already through letter K. And last but not least, because some of you have been asking about pictures, I literally took this picture about an hour and a half ago. It was hard to get the color because it was still daylight. I had the sun behind me, but this is our current moon. And if you zoom in here, we get some good crater depth. This is pretty cool down here. And now on January 31st, there is something called a blue moon that we're going to be able to see if it's clear out. I'm not sure how often these happen. I heard it could be every 100 years or so. It's going to be a rare situation. So for those of you that are sky photographers or just follow my channel and become interested in stuff like this, I highly recommend you set aside some time for that night. It's going to be something to see. It's going to be a huge moon on the horizon, especially when it first begins to rise. Of course, then it gets smaller as it rises into the sky, but it should be quite a sight if the skies are clear. I think that is all I have for you for right now, guys, but again, we may be dealing with yet another major winter storm. According to the data, you know I run by data. If anything changes, I will bring you updates. And once again, guys, I appreciate every one of you, and especially those of you that ran over and subbed to that new channel. If I do not have another update tonight, you will be hearing from me tomorrow afternoon. And I hope you guys have a great night, great weekend. And once again, unfortunately, this storm may be hitting us on Super Bowl weekend. All right, guys, that's it for now. Take care. Have a wonderful night. I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye bye.